Hello, and welcome to Coffee with Lyman. And here's to you, a nice, healthy, husky brew of coffee. Well, thought I'd tell you a story. Now, the last Coffee with Lyman was about my father and a gas leak under our mobile home, and how he lit up a match, cigarette lighter, and poof, exploded some LPG. Well, anyway, now the story's turned around on me doing something very stupid. So, this was back in the 1970s. I'd say it'd be the late 70s. And what had happened was, I was living alone. I went out, did some drinking, came home late. So I got home and I was hungry. I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of what we call 7-bone steaks. Now that's a piece of pork cut about that thick, and they're just delicious. They're so delicious, and they're real cheap. They're easy to cook, all the good things about them. So I decided I was going to make a couple of those, eat them, go to sleep. So what do? I go home, excuse me, I go home and I pull out 2 of them. Pull them out, they're frozen. I turn the broiler on. Now, if you don't know what a broiler is, think of a conventional stove in a home. On top, you've probably got 4 burners, gas burners, where you can boil water, cook soup, whatever, on top of the stove. The whole thing is called a stove. Excuse me. And you got the range on top. You got your big old oven right under that, where you would bake bread or whatever. And in some of the stoves, in the very bottom, there's a drawer you can pull out, and that's called a broiler. Well, I was going to broil these 2 pieces of pork. Now, what I did was turn the broiler on. That basically puts your biggest flame of the oven is on, right? The top high setting. And it's broil. Put the 2 pieces of meat in there, slid the drawer shut, and I knew I had to wait so many minutes before I would flip them over, and then a few more minutes they'd be ready to eat. Well, me being the drunken guy I was at that moment, decided I would sit down in my nice big comfy recliner. Now, it was late, I was drunk, and I fell asleep. Like, could you be stupider than that? So what happened was, I woke up and I was completely consumed in smoke. The very, very thick smoke. But it was halfway up the walls, halfway, not right down to the floor. So I wasn't in my recliner. I was in my bed. I went and laid down on top of the covers of my bed. So, and it was a 1-floor home. So I got up, and when I stood up, it was like it was 120 degrees in the room. So I walked, it was a small place, so I just walked from the bedroom quickly into the kitchen and turned off the stove, and smoke everywhere. And I turned that off, and it was on fire though. When I pulled the drawer open, it was actually a flame in there. The fat on the pork had caught on fire. And when I pull that drawer open, that's down by the floor, real low, the flame shot up into the ceiling. And I quick shut the drawer. And I thought, oh man, what am I going to do? Pull the drawer open a little, the flames come up. Well, I can't put the fire out without opening the drawer. And I can't open the drawer because the flames are bouncing all over. So I did another astoundingly stupid thing. On my kitchen counter, I had a big old can that would hold 5 pounds of plain old white powdery flour. And that stuff's combustible. Well, again, me being me, I thought maybe if I pull the drawer open real fast, I knew I couldn't put water on it, that would spread the fire. I could dump that whole thing upside down on top of that broiler so fast that it wouldn't have time to go poof, explode. It just put the fire out. That's what I did, and it worked. The fire was out. Okay, so now I got 5 pounds of flour all over the stove and on the broiler and all over the floor, but the fire is out. And of course, my meal was shot. So I look around and I have the doors open, I open the windows, get the smoke out, and I sobered up really fast. Then I had been raising canaries. You know what canaries are? Typically a little yellow bird about the size of a sparrow, and they sing, right? Well, I wanted to raise them. So I had a couple cages in my home with canaries in them. One of the canaries was a snow white color, snow white. And after I was done, I was looking at the canaries to see if they're all right, because, they could have died of smoke inhalation. They're rather fragile. This canary had, on its beak, where its little holes are to breathe through, its nostrils, it actually had black all around there from the smoke going in and out. Oh, I felt bad about that, but the bird was okay. I went in the bathroom a little later and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I was the same way. I had black all down in here from me breathing in the smoke. I could have so easily killed myself. Oh my God. So anyway, lesson learned, right? Something I already knew, but now it was reinforced. So I swore I would never ever do that again. I'm never going to cook and lay down and fall asleep. So another week or two later, I come home, same scenario. Put the meat in the broiler. I'm drunk. I don't lay down in bed. I sit down in my recliner and I fall asleep in the living room. Same thing happens. I wake up, but this time when I wake up, there was no smoke. And the house was extremely hot. And I woke up and I looked around. I couldn't figure out what. Looked like little black spiders everywhere, floating in the air, just floating around everywhere. What is it? And then I realized, oh my God, this time the smoke had come and gone away, and it had gotten so thick that what was left in the air for some little while after that, which is when I woke up, there was this black soot floating around in the, oh my God. So I hurry up, I realize what happened, I go look at the kitchen stove. There was no fire. The fire was gone. What had happened though, it had gotten so hot that the door on the front of the broiler had actually warped. Oh, I couldn't believe it. I pulled open the drawer and I looked down at my pork shoulder steaks, and what I had were little black round balls, a little smaller than marbles, and they were bouncing all by themselves on that tray, which was, a tray and had tinfoil on top of it. So I had 2 bones laying there, totally blackened, and the meat had burned so bad that it actually became little black balls, and they were bouncing because they were so hot. And the doors worked. Again, soot, stupid guy. Oh my God. I actually slept through the fire. I just, man, you gotta think like, I guess somebody up there looks after me. So that is how stupid I am. I learned the lesson the first time, one that I shouldn't have had to learn because common sense would tell you not to do it. Turned right around and did it again a week or two later, worse. Then I actually stuck to the lesson I learned. Never did that again. And lo and behold, I'm still alive. Yeah, that was back like 45 years ago. Among the many stupid things I've done. Well, it was nice talking to you. I hope you enjoyed my ridiculous situation that I told you about. And I look forward to seeing you again the next time we have coffee together. Goodbye for now.